Hello and welcome to episode 1 of the Jumble Jelly video podcast. I am Elle, the man behind the camera is Adam. Say hello.
Good afternoon and or morning, depending on when you watch this.
So for this episode I would like to talk to you about my current projects and 2 of my recently completed projects. So my first current project is a pair of socks, and I am using the gorgeous Rico Superba Poems. It's a wonderful yarn that has lovely long colour repeats, as can be seen from the first sock here that I have completed. I completed that ages ago actually. I've been very bad at getting the second one done. Anyway, I like to use a 3x1 rib when I knit my plain socks because I find they're very clingy onto your ankle. They don't go saggy like stocking stitch does, and it just breaks up a bit of monotony of just the knit stitch. So the Rico Superba Poems is 75% superwash wool and 25% nylon, which, you know, I love sock yarns with that small amount of nylon in it because it just gives it that really nice wearability. It just really helps. The gauge says to use a 2 or 3 millimeter needle. It's 30 stitches to 42 rows, which will give you a 10 centimeter square. It says you can wash it at 40 degrees, but do not tumble dry. I don't have a tumble dryer, but mine go through the wash all the time. As can be seen from this pair of socks that I knit 3 years ago. They went through the wash yesterday. They're slightly bobbly, but they wear really well. And for 3 years old, I think that's pretty amazing. So there's my current project on the needles. I prefer to knit my socks in the round on double points from the cuff down, and we will discuss in a later episode why I like to do that with my socks. So the colours of Superba Poems are just behind me here. That's not the full range, some of them are on back order at the moment and I'm waiting for them to come in. So my next project is a scarf in King Cole Riot double knit. This is a new yarn to the store. We've only had it in just over a week, I think, but it's been selling really well because I've been knitting with it in the shop. So the pattern that I'm using is called Spiral Staircase. It's a free pattern on Ravelry, so you can go and find that and knit your own scarf. It's a really good pattern. I'm really enjoying it. It's well written and yeah, it's just easy to follow. So the yarn itself, much like the Superba Poems from Rico, it has the long colour repeats. There's plenty of different colourways for it, and if we have a quick look at it, it's 30% wool and 70% acrylic, so again it can go in the washing machine. It's I think it's got a cool tumble dry on this one as well, so you can dry that one quickly. The gauge is on a 4mm needle with 28 rows and 22 stitches, giving you a 10 centimeter square. Okay, so those are my current projects that are on the needles. So recently I have finished this cardigan here. I use the Stylecraft Alpaca DK, which is a beautiful yarn to work with. It's 80% acrylic and 20% alpaca, which makes it really nice and warm. And I have to say, my shop is really cold. Adam, how cold is it right now?
Really cold.
Really cold. But this part of me here, I am so warm because of the alpaca. Now it is machine washable at 30. Again, this was something that went into the washing machine yesterday and I think it has worn very well. I've been wearing it for probably about a month and a half now, every day in the shop, and yeah, it's not too bobbly, it hasn't shrunk or anything in the wash. I'm really impressed with this yarn. It's got a really good stitch definition. The cables in this have really popped. Really enjoyed working with this yarn. So the gauge is a 4mm yarn needle, with 29 rows and 23 stitches, giving you a 10 centimetre square. Now the pattern that I used for this is a Wendy Ramsdale pattern. It is leaflet number 5788. The pattern itself was quite well written until I got to the sleeve decreases up here, where they had me decreasing 4 or 5 stitches at the beginning of every following row, which would have meant that if I'd followed that, I would have had a decrease going here and nothing on this side. I completely disregarded that instruction and decreased on every row, and I think it's worked out fine. Okay, so my next finished project is something that Adam is actually wearing. You're going to have to come in front of the camera at some point.
Yeah.
So the yarn that I used for this is the Wendy Aran, and as you can see, it's a rather large ball. It's a 400 gram ball. It is 25% wool and 75% acrylic. I used 2 balls of this for Adam's cardigan, and neither ball had a knot in it, which I think's fantastic for such a large ball. How many times can I say ball?
Well, just lots of balls.
Lots of balls, big balls.
Balls of yarn.
So here it's suggesting a gauge of 24 rows and 19 stitches, giving you 10 centimeters square, with 3 3/4 or 4.5 millimeter needles. It's machine washable, cool tumble dry, and it says you can cool iron it as well. Adam, please, in front of the camera, come on. There you are. Isn't he pretty, everybody? Say hi.
Hi.
So the pattern that I used for his cardigan, give us a twirl, a slow twirl. Yeah, that'll do.
Is that alright?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
I used a Debbie Bliss pattern called Zipped Jacket. As you can probably tell, there is no zip in it. I wimped out of doing that and I did a button band instead.
Didn't want a zip.
He didn't want a zip either. I really enjoyed knitting this. The cables went very quickly. Yeah, they did.
Is it these?
Yeah, those are the cables.
Okay.
Yeah, they went very quickly. I cable without a cable needle, so for me it went even quicker. Although, when did I start knitting that for you?
A long time ago.
Yeah, it was a year ago I started knitting it for him. And so, Adam, what do you feel about your cardigan?
Feels nice.
It feels nice.
Yeah.
Is it soft?
It was a little scratchy when I first started wearing it, but that's because I always wear t-shirts and stuff. That's really cheap.
Is it warm?
Yes, it's very warm.
And is it long enough? He wanted it extra long.
Yes, because well, the t-shirts that I have, they kind of come up a bit, and it just leaves the midriff section a bit colder than you really want it. So having it a bit longer means I can also couple it with a coat that I have, and then I can wrap it up and just be really warm when I'm out and about.
And also, he likes to sit on the floor to play his video games.
Oh, yeah.
So it covers everything and keeps him warm.
Yes.
Excellent. Do you want me to knit you some more cardigans?
You can start one, and then I'll get it next year.
Oh! And that's the end of this episode. Thank you for joining us. I hope you've enjoyed it. Have a great crafty week. You can find us on Facebook and Twitter as Jumble Jelly. The Instagram account is Jumble Jelly BOA, and I'm personally on Instagram as Miss_L_knits. Say goodbye, Adam.
I'll see you later.
Bye everyone. See you next week.